Hello, and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be making super simple and juicy pulled chicken tacos, white rice, and stewed beans. Here are the ingredients, so go grab them and let's get started. The first thing we're going to be using is sofrito on the chicken breast, and that's the little list of the ingredients that I use for this sofrito. We're going to season it with some sazon, salt, and you can add more or according to your taste preference, and some black pepper. We're going to mix it all very well, and we're going to be frying this, kind of pan searing more than frying it, just so that we could seal the flavor before we boil it. So just to give you a heads up of what we're going to be doing with this, we're going to add some sugar to the oil, burn the sugar, and then we're going to be placing the chicken breast there just so they can get that nice golden color before we continue with the process to make the pulled chicken. Have you ever seen this method of making the chicken before, adding some sugar and burning it? I know it's a little weird first time that I saw my husband doing that, but after I learned that it kind of just seals in the flavor and gives a nice golden color to the meat, I have been doing it ever since. And it doesn't turn out sweet because after the sugar burns, it loses that sweet flavor, so it doesn't give a sweet taste to the chicken that you might be thinking that it does. So now we're going to be placing the chicken breast in the oil, and we're going to leave them here for about 5 minutes, just until they start getting that golden brown color. And then we're going to be flipping them and leaving them there for about 5 more minutes. We're going to flip them, and we're going to do 5 more minutes in here. I will be using the same bowl that I was using for seasoning the chicken breast, and I'm just going to fill it with water, and we're going to cover the chicken breast with the water, and we're just going to cover it and let it boil. We're going to leave it here for about 15-20 minutes until the chicken breast is fully cooked. And I like to cover it just so that I can boil quicker and just be done faster. And then after it's fully cooked, we're going to remove them and place them in a cutting board. And I'm going to be using 2 forks to be pulling the chicken today, or shredding it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go out. And like I mentioned before, at this point the chicken should be fully cooked so that it's way easier to just start shredding it apart. When we're done shredding it, we're going to be placing it back in the pan where we were boiling it earlier. I'm going to leave a little bit of water left just so that I can put the chicken in there and then just continue to boil it in the juice that it had already created. At this point, I'm going to be adding also a little more flavor. I'll be using the same seasonings that I used earlier on, but the only difference is that I'll be using tomato paste, just because I feel like that brings all the other flavors together. But again, it's all according to what you prefer, so you can add whichever ingredient you prefer at this point. The good thing about this recipe is that it's very versatile, so you can use it for different dishes, like if you want to make empanadillas or turnovers, you could use it for that as well. But for today, we're going to be making our tacos. Up next, we have the rice. So gather your ingredients and let's start that recipe. So we're going to be making 3 cups of rice. That's the usual amount that I use. And for these 3 cups, we're going to add 3.5 cups of water. So in our rice pot, we're going to add some oil and salt. And then I like to add the water right away. Some people put the rice right away and then add the water after, but this is, everybody does it a little different. I'm going to be adding 3.5 cups of water because we use 3 cups of rice. And at this time, I would like to invite you to like this video if you're liking it so far, and to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos, and that way we can help other people create simple recipes that are full of flavor and that will bring happiness to their lives and to their loved ones as well. And I'm going to be rinsing the rice in here. Have you noticed that some rice packaging They say not to rinse the rice to keep the nutrients or whatever it might be. I don't know. Sometimes I rinse it, other times I don't, but today I did. And after that water is boiling, we're going to add the rice. And the good thing about this measurements, if you add the half cup of water to every cup of rice that you make, you don't have to worry about anything else because it just turns out perfect. So we're going to lower the heat a little bit, and then after everything's completely dry, that's when I like to stir the rice from bottom up. And now we have one more recipe on our to-do list for today, and those are the beans. I already boiled them, they're nice and soft, so you can also use canned beans for this as well. And I'm going to be adding some sofrito, some tomato paste, a little bit of salt, and you will notice that I am using a lot of the same seasonings over and over. These are my go-to, and I think that all my food can be seasoned with this same seasoning. With that being said, I'm going to be adding here a little bit of sazon, and then we're going to be adding sweet pepper and a little bit of onion that I had left over from yesterday's meal. Adding these fresh veggies just give it more of that homemade taste, homemade feel, and it's also healthier because you can add your onions and all that there. We're gonna cover it and let it boil. After the tomato paste has been cooked, I'm going to mash them a little bit with the back of my spoon there, just to make it a little thicker. And then once it reaches this consistency, that means they're all done and we can turn it off. And now we're going to be warming up our tortillas. These are the ones that I like to use when I make tacos. I put 45 seconds on the microwave and I consider them done, but you can add a little more if you need to. Last and most important step is to assemble our tacos and serve ourselves and enjoy this meal. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.